All right, I got a good feeling about this. They say the third time's the charm. I'm as close to the router as you can get, so we'll give it one more go. Thinking about the patience of Mel. So again, she is one of the most sought after motivational speakers. She's the author, and we're gonna hopefully chat about her brand new Audible original, Start Here with Mel Robbins. See if she's able to join.
All right, you did it.
We did it. Amazing. So I don't know if you heard me before, but I was just saying thanks for joining. I'm stoked to chat with you. We're going to talk today about a range of topics from emotional eating to finances to how we tackle the hardest part, which is, as you know, starting, the first step. So I was asking how you were. I think you were telling me that you're doing well.
I'm great. So I just want to make sure that everybody that's tuning in, we want to welcome you in. I'm Mel Robbins. I'm here with Audible and Jody from their social team, and this is going to be super interactive. So please, let's just start right now. I see we've got Argentina tuned in. Why don't you tell us where you're watching from so we can call you out? And as Jody and I are talking, we're going to be answering some questions that we got from both people that follow Audible and that follow me. But if you have any question or you've got something that you're struggling with, please, please, please put it in the comments and we will see if we can get to it during this broadcast.
Yep.
So here we go. We've got Brazil, Seattle. I love it. Orlando,
Canada.
Florida. Hello. Scotland. It's
Israel.
Chile. I love seeing South Africa. Hello. I just did a podcast yesterday with a guy from South Africa. Poland, Tel Aviv, Atlanta. Hey, Nakia Omar is in the house. All right. So Jody, take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, let's dive in. So from emotional eating and money and stress to anxiety, you cover so much ground in your Audible original. And just to say, I was delighted to listen, and I found a lot of it so encouraging, but also very relevant to my life. And I was just curious, how do you hope that people utilize this particular listen for their growth?
So we've launched this project with Audible called Start Here, and it's a series of 13 pep talks. They're less than 30 minutes, and they are designed with a very specific intention. They were created to give you the inspiration and the empowerment that you need in order to start making changes in some area of your life. And we cover topics related to family, stress, money, anxiety, friendship, health, you name it, we cover it in this. And the reason why we started this project is because, look, this is a crazy moment in time. I mean, how many of you are ready to just shut the door on 2020? All I'm going to tell you is 2021 is going to be the most epic year of our lives. And I know I know you feel isolated. I know you feel fatigue mentally because of all the uncertainty and how long this pandemic's going on and how it's impacting your life. I know you feel a lot of stress because of what a polarized political environment we're all living in around the world right now. And so we wanted to give you something bite-sized that would lift you up and that would teach you what you needed to know so that you could do the hardest part in changing one area of your life, which is getting started and knowing the right place to start.
Yeah, that's so key. I just saw someone in the chat actually just said that they wanted to learn how to stop emotionally eating. So that's perfect. Talking about coping mechanisms, like you just mentioned, so many people are under boatloads of stress right now, and some people far more than others. You talk about so many things that we're facing right now. What kind of guidance would you give to people who are struggling to cope in healthy ways?
Well, first of all, the number one thing, so they've just did this huge study. I was talking about this today with my team. They've done this big study where they've looked at absolutely every single thing that you could possibly do in the area of self-help, from exercising to practicing gratitude to changing your diet and eating healthy to hanging out with people that empower you to getting outside, like everything you could imagine, a journaling practice, a morning practice. The number one thing that makes a positive difference in your life, particularly in times of stress. Number one thing, everybody. And it's also, ironically, the one thing we do the least, and that is being kind to yourself. So many of us are so busy drinking the kale smoothies and trying to move our bodies and doing all the stuff, but we're missing the most important thing, which is being kind to yourself. And so if I could say anything, one of the kindest things that you could do to yourself in this moment of time is to lower or change your expectations in terms of how you're showing up. And by changing your expectations, what I want you to do is I want you to accept the fact that this is a challenging moment in time. Accept the fact that you are in a state of fight or flight. Accept the fact that work is a lot harder because you're probably on a parade of video conference calls all day, so you don't even have time to get your work done. And so if you are piling on the same expectations that you had of yourself when you weren't having to deal with wearing a mask and being isolated and sanitizing everything and working remote and dealing with kids at home and being worried about people in your family that are immunocompromised, not to mention all of the stuff that we're seeing unfold with this very important fight for social justice here in the United States in particular, with the political season, you need to change your expectations and realize that right now is a moment in time where number one, your number one priority, be kind to yourself. Your second priority is take proactive steps every day, small. You know me, I'm the queen of how little changes change everything. Little steps every day that address the stress in your body, okay? And we're going to give you some tools. And that's what Start Here is for. It's to give you some tools. Because you're living in a state right now of fight or flight. Your nervous system is buzzing all day long because so much has changed and you're having to manage so much. So first of all, you're doing a fantastic job, okay? I don't know if anyone's told you this, but you're doing a fantastic job, okay? Second thing I want to tell you, we're going to get through this, okay? We are going to get through this. The best days of your life are on the road ahead. The third thing I want to tell you is there hasn't been a challenge that you faced in your life that hasn't made you a stronger version of yourself. And this moment in time will be no different. One of my favorite mantras that I use constantly is I remind myself every day that this is temporary. And what I mean by that is the challenge that you're facing and the stress that you're facing right now is temporary, which will help you take a deep breath and remind yourself that on the road ahead, there are better days coming. And the second reason why I love this idea of remind yourself that this is temporary is because right now, it is so important that you hold on to your dreams because life, after all, is temporary. And if this challenge is temporary, one of the things that will pull you through it, everybody, is dreams that are out there in front of you. If you don't have your dreams right now, you're giving up on yourself. And so one of the reasons why I'm telling you, remind yourself this is temporary. Take proactive steps to lower the stress level in your body and settle your nervous system and change your expectations about what you're capable of doing in one day. You'll remove some of the self-imposed stress, okay?
That's so good. I was just listening about the part where you talk about the vagus nerve, I think it's called. And I feel like you're talking to me, and I'm getting my own little pep talk right here, which is so cool. Marie looks like in the chat said that she wants us to record this, and I just want to say that we are. But also, if you love this content and you want to share it, that's part of what the beauty of the podcast format is. It's so easy to share. It's around a specific topic, so when you find yourself in conversation with a friend around something, you can say, this worked for me, or this impacted me. I'd love to share it with you. So just wanted to call that out.
And let me call out one other thing, because I just saw somebody said, Mel, I don't even know. I can't even begin to think about what my dream is. The reason why you can't even begin to think about what your dream is, and how many of you can relate to that? Are you kidding me, Mel? Like, my day feels like triage. I don't have a clue what the heck I want. I just want to get through the day. If that's your experience of life, first of all, you're not alone. Secondly, your life doesn't have to be that hard. Things around you can be hard, but you can do little things. Remember, I'm the gal that's all about how the little things that you do can change everything that you do. And so what I want you to understand is you're disconnected from yourself right now. And you're disconnected from yourself and your spirit and your heart and your soul and the strength inside you, because life right now is so stressful. That's why where I want everybody to begin, if you're going to listen to one episode, listen to the one about stress, and then go and listen to the one about goals and dreams. Because if you're vibrating at a stress level that's super high and your nervous system is like this, and you feel like you're just surviving or you're sleepwalking through life and you're just trying to get through the day, of course you're not connected to your dreams, because you aren't even grounded in your body. And so Jody just mentioned something called the vagus nerve. Now, all the advice in my Start Here pep talks are free. Okay, you don't have to buy anything to apply the advice. You have inside of you this super cool thing called the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve runs all the way from your tailbone, all the way through up every major organ, through your vocal cords, all the way to your brain. And this sucker is a secret weapon, because if you spend a little bit of time every day doing what they call toning it, okay, making it toned, you can use the vagus nerve. No joke. I'm not kidding. This is real. I didn't make this up. You can use this nerve to settle your nervous system. How? Well, there's a bunch of things you can do. Based on the research, you could take a hot bath. Sitting in a hot bath immediately calms you. If you don't have a bathtub, no problem. Stand under a hot shower. If you can get outside without your earbuds in or your headphones on and without your phone. And if you can, take off your shoes and feel the earth underneath your feet, because the air and the sounds and being grounded in the earth will tone the vagus nerve. You want to know another thing that does it? Humming, singing, chanting. You know, there's a reason why monks are like, And if you do that with me, if you go, let's just do it together right now. Let's just go, You know where you feel it? Right up here, right? You don't feel it. You feel it here, but you feel it right up here. That's the vagus nerve vibrating and settling down your body. And so you want to start to really get into the mode right now, everybody, of doing something proactive every day that's going to help you lower your stress vibration in your nervous system. Because if you're operating at a zzz kind of level, you're disconnected from yourself. So first we got to get you grounded in your body and reconnected to yourself. That's number one. Then number two, in terms of dreaming, you have to start dreaming again, everybody. I know so many of you, how many of you are thinking, I can't wait for life to go back to normal? Well, guess what? This is the normal right now. So I want you to use this time to start to really think about what you value, and to think about when you come out of this, which you're going to, what do you want to align your life with in the future? You know, if you think about who you are right now, this is the current you, there's the future you too. See, I think we're all kind of suspended between two lives, the one that we're currently living and the one we have yet to create for ourselves. And so I want you to start to think about next year. Let's just pick June 2021, okay? It's enough time to think that things might be a little bit different. What could the current you do right now that will bring you closer and start to close the gap with the future you? That's the power of your dreams, is they pull you forward. They make you think beyond the circumstance. They remind you of who you are. And so start with what you value. Start with the stuff you don't like that's happening right now in your life. Start eliminating that, but start to think bigger about what life could look like if you allowed yourself, you gave yourself permission to dream.
Wow, that's so good. It's like we're getting a little taste of the pep talk format, which I was going to say. What do you think it is about this formatting that seems to work so well to bring people from just hearing something to actually doing it?
So, you know, the other thing about me, Mel Robbins, is that I think talk is really cheap. And, you know, that's kind of weird coming from a woman that talks for a living. But we are all experts at thinking about what we want. And we're all experts at trying to change on our own. And changing is a lot easier when you do it with somebody else. And you could think about what you want to do until the day that you die. But it's not until you find the courage to take action and to try that you will actually start changing your life. And so I guarantee you, every one of you, you're super smart and you know exactly what you need to be doing. I do too. One of the most amazing things about this pandemic and the kind of pause that it hit is it's really slowed me down, and it's forced me to think about what actually matters to me. You see, I bet that you have become addicted to being busy. You're used to racing all over the place. You're used to putting everybody first. You're used to pretending to be somebody at work and pretending to be somebody in your relationship and pretending to be somebody at home. And that disconnection that you feel from yourself, that is something I want you to pay attention to. It just means that you're not aligned with the person that you're meant to be and the values that you have and what you actually care about. You've gotten stuck in this trap of pleasing everybody around you, and you've got just trapped in the addiction to being busy. We all have. And so this has really created a moment in my life where I've said to myself, well, what does Mel Robbins want? Yeah. I know that Mel has been racing around for 5 years. I've been on, stages and planes 110 days a year. Mm-hmm. What do I actually want? If June rolls around and we come out of this, what do I want? And I'll tell you, it scares me. Like, I started to think, I think I actually want to do some events of my own. I think I want to do a lot more programming online. I think I want to, I start thinking about, I think I want to figure out how to do that and not become so like I'm running all the time. And so I'm in the middle of the same inquiry as you are. I'm figuring out my current life in the pandemic, but what does the future life look like? And how do I make sure that when I start creating what I want next, I don't bring all my old patterns and all my old mistakes and all the personality types that I attract that create drama for me? How do I create something new that really serves who I'm becoming? And so I invite you to think about that, because you can create anything that you want to create. Are you kidding me? The only thing that is holding you back is the garbage you tell yourself. The only thing, and I realize, and I make a real point in a lot of these pep talks and in my work to say, Jody, there may be some really heavy stuff you've dealt with in your life. You may have faced some serious abuse. You may have been the victim of crimes. You have maybe faced severe discrimination and bias in your life. You've maybe born into severe hardship and disadvantage. You're not responsible for any of that, but you have a responsibility for how you heal yourself and how you move forward. And that's what I'm here to help you to do, to think about what's coming next and who you want to become. And what are these patterns that have held you back forever? Patterns in your mind and patterns of behavior, just habits, not good, not bad, just stuff that you don't want to use anymore. How do you update those? And that's what we're here to help you with, because once you understand that all human beings we're all literally just a bunch of people walking around that repeat patterns that we don't realize we're repeating. And the good news about that is, if in any area of your life you don't like that area of your life, whether it's your health or it's the relationships or it's the lack of money in your bank account, I guarantee you there's a pattern from your past that is preventing you from becoming the most amazing you in the future. You find that pattern, we break that pattern, we replace it with something that the future you is doing, and boom, you change your life.
That's so cool. It's so true that we're always investing in our future today. And I think for me, listening to each of the episodes, there really is a sense that you are coming alongside and helping us start here. And I think obviously that, like I said, that format works really well. One of the things I thought was super interesting that you said is you say that jealousy is an indicator of desire. And we often think about jealousy as a fully negative thing, but actually, if we explore it, it can show us what we want. I just would be curious if you could speak to people who are trying to wrestle with these complicated emotions and how they might disable the alarm of what you call anxiety.
Sure. So let's unpack both of those.
Yep.
So when it comes to jealousy, everybody, and I've been talking a lot about dreams, right? And the importance of you dreaming, and that when you give up on your dreams, you give up on yourself, and that dreams are a lifeline to the person that you want to become, and you need to use them. And particularly right now, and one of the reasons why I'm going to keep hammering this idea that right now is the time to double down on the dreams and double down on the kind of person you want to become. And the reason why I believe this is because your reality right now is a function of what you see in the future. And if you see nothing but the same old crap coming at you in the future. You are going to feel discouraged right now. Your dreams act as a beacon out in the future that give you something to look forward to. It's a way to hack positivity, a way to hack hope, a way to hack optimism. And it starts to lead you towards something and out of where you are. So that's why they're really important. Now, one of the tools that you can use as you start to put dreams out in the future, everybody, is you can use jealousy, because jealousy is a signal from deep within that somebody out there has something that you want. Jealousy is very different than envy. Envy is like tar inside you. Envy is when you look at somebody and say they don't deserve that and you judge them. Jealousy is more like curiosity in my mind. Jealousy is one of these signals I want you to pay attention to. Oh, I'm jealous of them. Interesting. Why? Oh, okay. Well, because they're putting a kitchen on in the middle of a pandemic and I hate this hideous thing I cook in every day. And that makes me angry that I'm not aligned with my partner and I've spent my money on stupid things at Home Goods. And I just like, why am I not getting work? So jealousy tells you something. Okay. And so, you know, for me, I was really jealous of people that had podcasts and I would sit there and think about it a lot. And then I'm like, well, why am I not just doing one? And so use it as a signal that there's something that your soul is trying to make you pay attention to. Somebody's doing something out there that you are jealous of. It means you want some aspect of that. Then unpack it. What does that mean? We go over that in Dreams and Goals. Listen to that one on Start Here. Anxiety. Let me talk to you about anxiety. So first of all, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Mel Robbins, and you know, you're meeting me as a international best-selling author and a very, very prolific partner of Audibles. But I struggle with anxiety for 2 decades. I have 3 kids, 2 of them with pretty significant issues with anxiety, thanks to me, because it can be genetic. Anxiety is nothing more than a system, an alarm system in your body. Okay, that's all that anxiety is. Anxiety has a purpose. Anxiety's purpose is to warn you that there's something up, okay? Now, anxiety can be a really good thing in certain situations. So for example, have any of you ever been in a situation where you're either about to cross the street or you're driving in a car and all of a sudden out of nowhere, oh my God, I didn't see it, like a car swerves, or you almost pull into somebody's lane, or you almost step into traffic? Have you had that experience happen? Yes, you see all the hearts. Everyone's like, of course. Well, that flood that you feel in your body, that's anxiety. That's all. It's just your body's hardwired to go like, warning, 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 before your mind even realizes what's going on. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you're in a car and all of a sudden you're about to hit another car and you swerve out of the way, the second that the threat is over, your body settles down, because your mind can look around and go, the threat is gone. We can all just calm down now. The issue, if you're feeling a lot of anxiety right now, is that all the uncertainty, whether it's about the pandemic or the economy or the election or the fight for social justice, or whether or not you're going to keep your job, or whether or not the person that you're living with is going to come home angry and start fighting with you. Like all of those things that create uncertainty, they create a constant feeling in your body that something's up. And the way that your mind and your body work together is that the second that the anxiety signal goes up in your body, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong, your mind starts to look for reasons that can explain it. Because in the example I gave you of the car, when you see the car go away, your mind tells your body you can calm down. What's happened for everybody on the planet right now is ever since COVID-19 hit, people have been living with a heightened state of anxiety that's never gone down. And so what you need to do, and I talk about it in detail in on almost every single project I've ever done for Audible, frankly. But what you need to do is what I was saying in the very beginning. You need to do some work every day to just keep your nervous system settling down. That's number one. And number two, you need to start to understand what are the things that are triggering your anxiety. You need to write those triggers down. And then you need to come up with what I call anchor thoughts, which are ways to turn the alarm off. And anchor thoughts are your go-to thoughts that you're going to think in any situation where your anxiety is triggered. You see the, maybe there's a presidential debate tonight. Maybe that's making you anxious. I have no idea. And so your mind starts to spiral, right? When you think about the election, you think about what's happening, you think about the vitriol in this country, whatever. You could come up with a thought pattern that no matter what happens, this country will get through it. No matter what happens, we're going to get through it. No matter what happens, like you could say something in your mind that then lowers the tension. Okay. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to anxiety is, I just completely forgot what I was going to say. See, this is what happens when you're 51 years old, everybody. Every once in a while, the thoughts just go, pew.
No, that was great. I think what's interesting is there's a thread. I can't help but notice a thread in all of it, and every bit of work that you do for one part of yourself is really affecting, of course, the whole self. And I saw the video, and someone mentioned this in the chat. That's why I'm bringing it up. But the video with you and your husband, where you were talking about, basically the recipe that he tends to use to help you come down from that anxious state. And I thought that was so helpful. And I guess someone was mentioning that they really enjoyed that. So I just wanted to call that out. And for those asking, we will be saving this since there's a lot of gems that Mel is dropping for us. But also, these are all in the title. So all the stuff that she's previewing today, you can get more of that in the Audible original. I wanted to ask you a question about finances. What would you say to someone who's just starting out their journey in pursuing financial freedom?
Oh, well, first of all, you should. Because, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's a happy life to be financially stressed. Over a decade ago, I was facing bankruptcy and about to lose absolutely everything. And so I know what it's like to wake up and hyperventilate and know that you can't pay for groceries today and you have no idea where the next dollar's coming from. So I applaud you for wanting to face your finances. It takes courage. I think the number one thing that most of us don't realize is that with any behavior change, you're not just trying to change the behavior in the present moment. You're trying to change a pattern that you've been dragging along from the past. And your attitude and habits around money are, I'm guaranteeing you, they come either directly from how your parents dealt with it or as a reaction to how they dealt with it. And you're not in control of how you think about money, and you're not in control of how you spend and save your money. And so the first thing that you need to do is to understand that you're walking around with somebody else's belief system and somebody else's habits about money. And so you got to bring your beliefs and your habits into alignment with the person you want to be now. Okay. Not the past you, the person you want to be now. And then, it's literally the same way that you change any habit. You've got to start to identify the small behaviors you're going to change. And then you've got to use the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got to interrupt the old patterns. And a lot of us have spending habits that are tied to our emotions. So when you're feeling sad, what do a lot of people do? We eat, we feed the sadness to distract ourselves or because we're lonely, or we go to Walmart or Target and we walk the aisles. And we buy things that we don't need. In fact, my daughter just did this. She's out in college in California and she's feeling a little anxious and everything's virtual and she's starting to feel like she's getting depressed. And so all of a sudden I saw like, first of all, how did she log into my Amazon account? And secondly, I started seeing like all these little things being shipped to her apartment. And I call her and I'm like, what are you doing? You do not need a little plastic container for your makeup brushes. And she said, I'm stuck in this apartment. I can't go outside. I just feel like I need to get a few things to make me feel. That is emotional spending. That is a person who's not in control of her decision making. She's letting her emotions drive it. And so one of the places that I recommend that you look after you figure out how to get aligned with who you want to become and the behaviors that this person has in the future and start doing them now, is notice where you're spending. The fastest thing to do is to stop spending money. And if the pandemic has ever given you anything, it's a reason to not go out. And so that's a reason to not buy crap you don't need. And so looking at where your money is going, print out your bank statement for the last 2 months. And you probably don't even have a clue. Look at how many apps that you are subscribed to that you probably don't even realize that there's a monthly $2 thing just going out the door, out the door, out the door, out the door. So again, bring yourself into alignment with who you want to become, and then start to practice the behaviors that the future you is going to adopt.
Cool. We have a question from a user, but I want to also just share that I think something about what you're saying that I wonder is when something's overwhelming, for example, with finances, or even because I think in pictures, let's say that you have like a super messy garage, and what you might start doing is avoiding the garage. And I think to encourage some people to print out their statement is like, okay, sure, that makes sense, but also is really scary. And so I think this question really
you would be shocked, Jody, how many people don't open their bills.
Exactly.
Because,
and so this
go ahead,
question,
what's the question?
From Tatiana, it says, what happens when you actually know your dreams, but fear to pursue it paralyzes you, which I think is relevant, ties together in a way.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing. At some point, Tatiana, you're going to wake up and realize nobody's coming. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to rescue you. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to find you. No one's coming. And when you realize no one's coming, it's both terrifying and liberating, because you realize that your life is your responsibility. Your dreams are your responsibility. You're not paralyzed. You're just scared.
Yeah.
And you can take action, and you can start exploring and learning about scared. I do it every day. It's how you grow. But when you embrace this simple idea, nobody is coming. No one's going to discover you. No one is going to do the work for you. No one is going to push you. You have got to be the parent that you need right now for yourself.
Yeah. That's such good advice. I don't know if this is a quote from someone, but I always think about do it scared, do it afraid. So another question from Megan. We have super negative energy in our home right now. What can we do to shift that? We just moved and everyone's overwhelmed.
Well, you know what you could do is you might be, first of all, remember what I said first, that I want everybody to change their expectations right now.
Yeah.
So moving, while it's exciting, is extremely confronting.
Yeah.
Even if you're thrilled about the move, you will be in a state of alert, and that alert for all of you, because you're in a brand new physical environment. And when you're in a brand new physical environment, it can make your nervous system kind of just be in a state of alert. So understand that everybody is on edge, and probably will be for a couple months until you kind of settle into a new routine. The second thing that I would do is, if you're with a family, I would not micromanage other members of the family in terms of their rooms and getting their rooms set up. Get their stuff in their rooms, close the door. If they want to sleep on cardboard boxes for a month, let them. Who cares? We're in a pandemic. The next thing that I would do is I would intentionally create some fun. There's really interesting research about happiness. And one of the things that people who are happy do is they work at having happy things. Wow. And they work at doing things that bring them happiness. And so I would invite you to borrow an idea that our kids introduced when we first quarantined back in March, April, and May with our kids. Our kids came home from college and they were like, why don't we have themed dinners? So once a week, we would have a themed dinner where everybody, one night, they came up with this idea called Wear Anything But Clothes. So literally, nice. My husband came down wearing a pot lid tied around his waist with a ribbon. I wore like a cardboard box across my chest and grocery bags around my legs. My daughter took 2 pillows and tape, and that's how we had dinner. The next week we did a dessert bake-off where we divided into 2 teams. And so we had something to look forward to. And it was a way to enjoy each other. But that's what I would say. Remind yourself this is temporary. Come up with a themed dinner once a week, and don't alleviate your stress by micromanaging the people in your family. Let them deal with themselves.
Wow, that's helpful. I think it goes back to that anchor thought of reminding yourself to be kind. And another question we have um, from Lyric, any tips on being consistent?
Yeah. So consistency is just a skill. And I have ADD and dyslexia and, struggled with anxiety for a long time. So consistency, not my strong suit. It's something I struggle with for real. And so I have developed a habit of being consistent, and I've developed a habit of what I call simple discipline. Okay. And here's how I do it. I focus on the way I set up my mornings, and I use my morning routine as a way to practice making and keeping simple promises to myself. Because at the heart of change is the ability to make a promise and keep it to yourself in the future.
Wow.
And discipline is created through repetition. And so I have turned my morning routine into a simple way for me to make a promise to myself, keep the promise, and therefore start creating the habit of simple discipline. So when the alarm rings, I get up. When I get out of bed and I walk toward the bathroom, right between me and the bathroom are my exercise clothes. I literally have to walk right over them to get to the bathroom. I've laid them there for a purpose because I need to put them on. And that way I've put on my clothes. That's a promise I'm making to myself. When I lay them out at night, I am making a promise that the Mel Robbins in the morning, the future Mel, is going to actually put these things on. Then I brush my teeth. And as I'm brushing my teeth, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm practicing programming positive thoughts. Today, I can show up and be kind. I am a, blah, blah, blah. I will make progress on the book. Your positive mindset doesn't just happen, everybody. You gotta put that stuff in there. Then I never leave a bathroom without high-fiving a mirror, ever.
Amazing.
You know why?
Wow.
Because most of us look in the mirror and see something we don't like. If you can't look in the mirror and see that person in the mirror and go, that person is freaking awesome, you got work to do. You got work to do. And so I do that work. There she is. Go get him, girl. And then what do? I make my bed. I make my bed because I promised myself I would make my bed. It's a way to keep a promise. It's a way to finish something in the morning before you even leave your bedroom. It's a way to make sure that when you walk back in your bedroom, you don't see a mess that you need to clean up. And you've just created a beautiful place for you to go back to tonight in the future and lay down and dream. And then I walk out the door and I have, I quickly do journals in my 5-second journal. And I set one intention for the day of one thing I'm going to make progress on. And then I move my body, period. Why?
Cool.
Because I promised myself that I would. That's how I start my day. And by doing it that way, I'm building a muscle of making and keeping simple promises. And when you do that, and you can keep a simple promise there, you can keep it anywhere in your life.
Cool. So Lyric, you can be consistent. It's a skill you can learn. And I love that.
And by the way, it's not a one and done. You're going to have to practice this.
Totally.
One. And always, if you feel like, okay, I was good for a while and now it's been a bad year, every single morning you've got a chance to wake up and decide who you want to be. Every single morning you can wake up.
Here. Yeah.
Yes, you just start right there. That's what I tell everyone. You always start with your morning routine. Always, always, always. Because when you wake up, you decide who you're going to be that day. Are you going to be the person that hits the snooze button 4 times and wakes up late and stressed out? Or are you going to get your ass out of bed and start your day? Who are you going to be? You get to decide every single morning.
That's awesome. I love that about the, that's what I was going to say about the format again. I keep going back to it, but it's because it impacted me and I think it's going to impact a lot of people. But the idea that I think like it goes together again when we fall off the wagon, so to speak. It's easy to kind of like self-talk negatively and be overcome with shame. But I think what's so encouraging is in the format, and also your voice is just that it's so encouraging, and it's like empowering to say that no, you can start now, you can start today, you can start here.
Start here.
Yeah, exactly. So one more question from me, and then I'll do one more question from folks in the chat, and then we can call it. But I had a question about the episode on happiness, and you say that happiness is an inside job. And I thought that was just such a profound way of putting it. But for the stand in their chips people, which is the way that you refer to people who might be by nature a little bit more inclined to be glass half empty. And I guess I wanted to ask a question for those people, because I feel like any of us can be that person in a given moment, but also some of us that dishonest. How would you encourage people to practice the discipline of choosing optimism and happiness?
Well, look, what's the alternative? Honestly, why do I need to convince you of why it's important to practice having a positive and optimistic mindset? Do you really love being cynical and resigned and angry and negative and seeing all the crap that's wrong in the world? I doubt it. Are you kidding? Like the research on this is indisputable. That you happy people that are optimistic and people that have a positive outlook live longer. They enjoy their lives more. They have better relationships. They make more money. They're better at selling. What does optimism mean? It doesn't mean that I'm going to hand you a sandwich filled with poop and tell you to enjoy it. Optimism means that you believe that through your own thoughts and your own action, you can have a positive impact on any situation that you're facing. That's what optimism is. And so positivity is the ability to see a situation and twist it in a way that you see opportunity and you see problems to solve instead of seeing an obstacle. And so, of course, you want a positive mindset. And if you don't, that's your choice. It's your life. You can sit in your own brain and be miserable. You can spend your time complaining to all your friends about how crappy your life is. It's your life. You get to do what you want with your life. And that's the beauty of it. So if you want to continue suffering, have at it. If you want to spend the next decade complaining about how your ex ruined you or how life is unfair, have a great time with that. Seriously. How's it working for you? Probably not that great. What I'm offering you is a choice. I'm offering you the ability to wake up and realize you don't have to live like that. You can choose what you think about. You can choose how you spend your time. You can change your habits. Let's forget about the past. There's no reason to spend any more time looking in the rearview mirror. Let's look outside. Let's look ahead. Let's look out the windshield. That's why it's bigger than the rearview mirror, because you're headed forward. And so I want your thinking to draw you forward. Okay? It's critical that you understand this. And when it comes to happiness, I like the image of an ocean. An ocean never leaves, right? An ocean is all of the emotions that you feel. And there are those days that you show up at the ocean and it's like the most beautiful day. The waves are perfect. They come rolling in. And then there are days that you're going to wake up and there is a storm and the ocean's all churned up and it's scary at that beach. What I'm here to tell you is you've got a wave machine inside of you that can create waves of happiness. And, one way that you can do that is, number one, you can practice having a positive attitude. How do you do that? My favorite way to practice having a positive attitude is something I call savoring. Savoring is when you notice something in the moment and then you savor it. Like I want you to look around right now, Jody, in your
apartment,
and find one thing that calls your attention that makes you happy. What is it?
My bicycle.
Okay, and describe the bicycle. Give us details as to why you love this bicycle. Savor it for us.
When I'm riding my bicycle, I feel like I'm flying.
Okay. Oh, great.
Yeah,
And what happened when you started describing that you felt like you're flying?
it made me laugh. I got happy thinking about it.
There you go.
Yeah,
That was an example of savoring right
cool.
there. I love, let's see. This is my rescue cat, Mr. Noodle. There he is. I
Amazing.
love that cat. He brings me so much happiness and joy. I love that cat so much. He is such a badass. He's out every night, tearing, terrorizing small animals up here in Vermont. I love this cat. I love how he like is long and he's affectionate I just love him. And when I talk about it and I savor what I love about him, it literally hits me with a wave of happiness. What's another thing? Move your body. Okay. Moving your body. All the research shows just 20 minutes of you outside walking, you outside with what do they call it? A valet pace, just sort of jogging to get a car. That's enough. That's
Yeah.
enough. It's sort of like have you ever jumped in a cold ocean? You ever had that
Yes.
feeling? Have you ever jumped in a cold ocean? You're like, I don't want to go in. I don't want to go in. Whoa! And then you jump in, you're like, ah! And then it's amazing. It tastes amazing. It feels amazing. It's like refreshing. That's what exercise is like. You never want to get in. You start it and you bitch about it. By the time you're done, you're like, this is the most amazing thing. So don't ever expect to want to move your body. Just jump in. And the final thing is, oh, here he comes.
Mr. Noodle.
Here comes Mr.
Oh,
Noodle. Oh,
yes.
lying down. Yes. Oh, look at how long
I'm
this cat
savoring
is.
Mr. Noodle right now.
Yeah, look how long that cat is. Like his tail's not even extended. And then the final thing is make yourself do things that you enjoy. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll make you happy. Like, why are you punishing yourself? If you like those adult coloring books, get one out and color it. That's a
Love
form of
it.
meditation, by the way.
Mm.
Be kind. Remember what we said first, be kind to yourself.
Yep.
And one of the greatest things that you could do in terms of being kind to yourself is always high five yourself before leaving a bathroom, right? There you go, high five. And carve out time to do the things you enjoy.
That's so good. Well, I've enjoyed this, and I just want to say thank you. And if you guys have enjoyed this, throw some hearts. Let's
Oh,
thank Mel. We appreciate you taking the time, and we're so excited. And for folks who have enjoyed this, you're going to love the Audible original, and you can start here today. So, been a pleasure, and we'll see you soon.
awesome. Thanks everybody for spending time with us. We really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you on social media.
See you.